Get this off. Hey everybody, just coming in from walking the doggy. Let me put this stuff up. You know, I was thinking about something that, yeah, it's cold out this morning. Good puppy. I was thinking about something that I think some people can relate to. You know, I've shared with you, I'm pretty open about my life. I've shared with you how during the beginning of the COVID stuff, I'm not quite sure where to put this, see if I can get some better light. I I was doing great. I was dealing with everything just great. And then my daughter and son-in-law got COVID, and we thought that I had it, but actually what I had was a really bad sinus infection at the same time that they had COVID. So I had to quarantine, they had to quarantine. Then after their quarantine was done, their kids had to quarantine because that's how the rules go for all this. Well, anyway, I was sick for a while with the sinus infection, and I don't know, and the long quarantine and not being able to see the grandkids, and I guess it just kind of got to me, and I wasn't dealing with it well. And not dealing with it well ended up that I decided, I had so many times in my life where I would eat things that weren't good for me, but at the moment they made me feel good. And I ate some stuff, that caused me to put on a few pounds. Well, I decided, I thought about it a lot, and I realized, okay, how I post things about, like, it's better to put off what you want now in order to get something that is really important to you that you can get later. Actually, it's funny because I always have trouble remembering how these little quotes go, and I think it's because it's been a difficulty in my life. It's like, I want it now kind of thing. And sometimes a lot of times in my life I've struggled with that, but that struggle came back up again recently for me. So, I mean, I was even eating stuff like, I drove through McDonald's and got an apple fritter and a hot fudge sundae. Yeah, I did. I didn't even tell my daughter that. Shh. And she's my health coach. And I some other stuff like that too. And anyway, I did enough of that kind of stuff that I put on a few pounds. Plus, it bloated me up. Oh my gosh, I ordered a Domino's pizza one night. No, I did not eat the whole thing. I ate part of it and threw the rest away. But, after everything I've shared with y'all, and I did that. Why did I do that? Well, I had a lifetime of practice doing that kind of thing. So, I did it again. Well, anyway, so when I was out walking the dog this morning, okay, so, I'm not as small as I was, but I'm not as big as I was last week either. I'm headed in the right direction now. I was thinking about how, I feel good because, like, I'm not hanging over my jeans, and I don't feel like anything is binding me or too tight on me, or when I sit down, it's constricts my breathing or anything. And I know, because I've been there are people who are bigger than me who are going to say, oh, if I could just be like she was, I'd be thankful. People who are this big say, oh, if I could just be this big, I'd be thankful. And people who are this big say, oh, if I could just be this big. Well, there's a certain point, and I have to say this, there's a certain point that you can get to where when you're over that point, you're not comfortable. And when you're at that point or under it, you just feel right. There's something about your balance and just your general feeling of well-being. So the problem is, though, if you've always been big, and most of my life I tended to be on the big side, I didn't know what it was to feel just right or better. I didn't know what that was. But I did know that I wasn't happy with how I felt when I was big. But I was so accustomed to kind of being a little disappointed in myself that, oh, hey, Donald, hey. If you're watching, oh, hey, Denise, if you're watching, say something so I can see your name and greet you. I didn't feel comfortable. I was a little I had this disappointment. It was almost like normal. It was second nature to just always feel a little disappointed in myself. To always, if I compared myself with other people, coming up short. Now, we shouldn't compare ourselves to others, but, we do, especially in areas where we're not happy with ourselves. So, like today, I'm happy with myself. Today, I'm headed towards, where I want to go with my weight and my well-being. And I don't feel a need to even look at what other people wear. Do you know what? Okay, this is terrible, but true confessions. When I would sit in church every Sunday for years, I would watch as people went up for communion, and I would look at the ladies, and I would think, am I bigger than that lady? Actually, what I would think is, am I fatter, or is she fatter than me? But you know what? When we're not happy with ourselves, we have a tendency to be unhealthy in our thoughts by comparing ourselves with others, and also by being unkind in our thoughts about ourselves and about others. So what I wanted to say through all this, I don't want to wander too far from my point. Oh, thank you, Donald. Donald thinks I look great. I'm doing much better. My point is that it is possible to say to yourself, I want that hot fudge sundae and apple fritter from McDonald's. Oh, it would taste so good. But it's possible to bypass it because I want to feel better. If you've never been happy with yourself and felt good in your own body, had a feeling of well-being, oh, thank you, Denise. If you've never had that, go on an adventure and see if you can find it. I'm proof that it's possible. Look at my profile picture, the one in the little circle. And I have an album on my Facebook page called Transformations. There are hundreds of pictures of people, a good number of whom I know or who were my clients as me being their health coach, who went from here, to here. And it's actually a lot easier than you realize. But you need support. If you go just on a diet, what happens is at first you're all excited, oh, it's something new, and you're seeing results. And then after a while, it sort of becomes old hat. And you're not as motivated anymore. And if you don't have support, it's really difficult to stick with it. And also, if you don't have support when there are rough times, it's hard to get through them. So going on a diet, somebody is staying home. I've gained weight. Now I'm fighting myself to lose the weight. Yes, it's been difficult for a lot of people staying home. But here's the thing. yes, these have been unusual circumstances, but I have to say, for me, I can't blame the staying home or, you know, changes, external changes. What I personally have been fighting with is the old me, the years and years of history where I used food as comfort, food as a relief for boredom, food, you know, almost as a friend, food as something to do, you know, something exciting. Um, anyway, so rather than a diet, what I coach is a healthy lifestyle plan. Now, you may say, yeah, you know, you say that, but look, you gained weight. Now you're working on losing it. You know what, though? The point is, I have a history of that sort of thing, but I have the tools to deal with it now. And yes, I gained weight. That was after 2.5 years of keeping it off. I've never kept off weight that long. I think the longest I've ever kept off weight in my life was maybe 6 months, maybe. And otherwise, you know, it was always a constant up and down, but mostly up. You know, it would be up and down, up and down, up and down. The ups were always higher and the downs were always higher than the last down. But anyway, so with a healthy lifestyle program, rather than a diet, what you learn is how to change things in your life so that the very things that caused you to become overweight, you change those habits so that they're not there influencing you anymore. So, okay, we have a comment, medicines can make you so hungry. Yeah, you know, it that reminds me, and I'll just mention this since you brought it up, Donald. Um, I was watching a TV show last night that had all these medical, you know, these drug ads for different medications, even for dogs, you know, ask your vet for blah, blah, blah for your dog. And it was just like the people ads, but it was dog medicine too. Well, anyway, for the people medicine, of course, you know, in our country, because obesity and overweight is such a problem, we have a big problem with diabetes. And there were several ads for different diabetes medications. The side effects, you know how it says may cause da 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 da, and they always say that in a quieter voice and kind of more quickly, you know, and they display it on the screen in small print. Is that like medication is that's not solving the problem, okay? Um, Changing your lifestyle, that can solve the problem. I was a type 2 diabetic. I was fine my whole life, and all of a sudden when I turned 60, after years and years and years and years of being overweight, I became diabetic. After a few weeks, changing my lifestyle with this program that I now coach, my blood sugar became normal, and it's been normal going on 3 years now. You know, so I'm just talking to you about what I've experienced, but also there are hundreds of thousands, possibly millions of people, yeah, millions, who have experienced the same thing with this program. So, you know, if you're interested, get in touch with me. And, you know, even if you're not ready to just make a whole lifestyle change, let's chat, because I may be able to help you with some tips about what you're eating, how you're eating, when you're eating, that you may never have known could be helpful to you. I will say, though, that when you change your lifestyle and when you change what you're eating and when and things like that, and you have the support and you have some education, you discover that you don't have such a need for some of those other foods. Now, I will say that I haven't had fried food in, all right, I had that apple fritter. I don't know if it was actually fried, but you know, I mean like fried and breaded food. Um, I think I did after a few months of being on the program. Didn't taste good to me. It wasn't like it used to be, and it kind of made me feel, not so great. Um, the thing is that I haven't given up fried food. I've replaced it with other foods that are healthy for me that I actually enjoy. Foods that I never thought it was possible to enjoy and be excited about. I mean, this is going to sound weird, but when I go into the market and see the salads, I start salivating because I love salad. I love them even without dressing on them. And I used to be the gal who had a little salad with her dressing rather than a little dressing with her salad. Anyway, so I won't keep you any longer because we all have places to go, I guess, or things to do anyway, right? And oh, I do too. I need to get moving here. So think about what I said. It is possible to not feel disappointed in yourself. Oh, thank you for the hearts. It is possible to change no matter how old you are, and for things to be better in your life. And my gosh, what time is a better time than now in the history of the world, right? You can do it. Get in touch with me. I'll help you.